Since I started teaching at IDEA 3 years ago, I've been gradually but steadily investing in a student makerspace using funds that you help support me with through VFE Pedals. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour of this space right now. First up is all of the electronic components that I've been able to accumulate over the years running VFE Pedals. Almost all of these parts come from that time of production and design, and now it gets to be this massive resource for our students that otherwise would have to pay several $1,000s to accumulate this level and this kind of amount of parts for them to use. Next up is our soldering stations. We actually have about a dozen soldering stations, but I wanted to set up some more professional level stations that could be permanent and allow students to do work more efficiently when they are doing more advanced projects. You can see that one of the current projects we're working on and that students are working on is this giant light panel. We're going to use it in a product photography booth so that students can take professional photos of the things they design and create here at IDEA. Last year we spec'd out and designed a custom workstation and put a little bit of gaming RGB flair to it. This is meant to be a space for students when they need to do more advanced projects and need to do it in an efficient time frame. They have a computer that they can use that is up to the challenge. I've started working on getting a workstation for surface mount, soldering and repair, but that's kind of just underway. Over here we have printers for printing on metal, wood, glass, acrylic, many plastics, and fabric as well, a direct garment printer. This will allow students to take the graphics that they've designed and actually put them on a real a substrate that is something other than a sheet of paper, and so it'll really enhance the professionalism of the products that they create. Here's just that product photography booth. Obviously it's a work in progress right now. We haven't even lined it, but we've got some big ideas for it. You can see the roof's off because the lighting is still being made. Not everything fits in our makerspace, and some of the tools we want to use in our math classes, which can have easily over 25 students, and so they would no way fit in that makerspace. So here's one thing that we'll be using a lot in geometry and potentially other courses, but this is a CRICUT machine. It's basically a CNC machine for blades and markers. So we'll be using that to do design work using geometric properties and such. We've got a mini CNC machine that's primarily used for creating custom circuit boards in electronic circuitry classes. And then over here we've got a thing of resistors, capacitors, inductors, and some LEDs and other parts. And this is for my pre-calculus class to teach them about complex numbers, about periodic functions, logarithmic scales, all the sorts of things that actually circuits involve are tied into a lot of pre-calculus concepts. I'm building out a kind of a music sound creation station, particularly for those students who really want to go a little more in depth and experiential in the sound creation process and using some of the ideas that we learn when we talk about the how our brains perceive sound and the relationship between them and sort of the different sort of periodic wave functions that you can actually see in sound synthesis and all that kind of cool stuff. So this is just for students who really have that sort of musical bent and want to go even deeper and kind of explore and play with those things. A little more than a year ago, I was able to custom print these amazing geometric art and math concept posters made by an artist called Jazzberry Blue, and print them on a foam core board and turn them into flat panel speakers or DML, distributed mode loudspeakers, and then put them all the way sorry, oops, bad camera work, all the way around the room and even in that maker space over there, both to have some interesting mathematical concepts that they can sort of wrestle their brains with, but then be this really cool and inspirational sort of sound system. How does that work? And sort of that investigative curiosity that comes with it. One thing that happens when you try to teach application with mathematics is that you need a lot of materials. And so we've had to accumulate and acquire quite a few materials for students to learn how to do design and construction work in geometry using geometric properties, to playing with circuits and their properties and pre-calculus, and all the equipment that comes along with that. So I'm not just teaching the math behind it, but also how do you actually apply that and what are the tools that we use.